All right, so this warm up, the first thing you got to remember is that when you're multiplying two base numbers that are the same and they have exponents, you're going to actually just add the exponents. So this is going to be 3 to the what? 2 to the what? 2 to the 6th. Okay? And then on this one, it's an exponent of an exponent. So this will be multiplying the exponents. So it'll be 3 times 2, or 3 to the 6th.
Oh, God.
All right. So now at this point, we're going to subtract the exponents when we're dividing. So it'll be 5 to the 6th minus 4. So you should have gotten 5 to the 2nd. Okay. On number 4, we are going to convert to decimal. We need 4 spaces after the 4 place values. I already have 7 and 4 as 2 of them. So I'm going to add 2 more zeros to make it 4. On number 5, you're going to have 255 written down, but you need 3 zeros before it. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to put your decimal between the first 2. Number 6, when you're writing it in scientific notation, you're always going to put your decimal behind your very first digit in this. So it would be 7.52 times 10, and you're going to count how many place values you have before where you put that decimal point. So it'll be 1, 2, 3 times 10 to the 3rd. Okay, and when you're working with a decimal, you're going to put the decimal point right behind the first digit you get to after all the zeros. So this will be 7.25. And count all the zeros beforehand, including the 1 in the ones place. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be negative because it's smaller than 1. Okay. The first couple of these are very, very easy. What you need to do when you have scientific notation is basically you're going to take the 2 and the 3 here, and you're going to put those together in one place. So it'll be 2 times 3 times, and you're going to put the tens together. So it'll be 10 to the 3rd times 10 to the 2nd. All right? What did I just basically do? What property did I just do? Think it back by yesterday's assignment. What did I move? The 3 and the 10. So that means I just did the commutative property of multiplication, okay? All right, so 2 times 3 is 6. And then when I'm multiplying exponents, what am I going to do with these 2 exponents here? I'm going to add them. So this will be 3 plus 2, or 5. All right? Same is true for this one. This time I'm dividing, so I'm going to put these 2 together first. What's 12 divided by 4? It'll be 3. Huh? Okay. And then this will be 10 to the 4th, because it's going to be 6 minus 2. All right. Those 2 are pretty easy. But sometimes it gets a little bit more difficult. I want to save this one for last because this is like the hardest one on the whole page. But this one right here, once again, we're going to take the first portion of it and just look at that. So 6.9 divided by 3. Now if I write that out long division, because if I don't have a calculator, this is what I would do. 3 goes into 6 how many times? Twice. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, now I'm going to bring down the 9 because this is 0. How many times does 3 go into 9? 3 times. Where does that decimal go? It goes right here because it's right above it, okay? So this is going to be 2.3 times 10. And now I'm going to focus on this part right here. It's a negative 8 and a negative 2, and we're subtracting them. So it'll be negative 8 minus a minus 2. Yep. Yeah, because this actually ends up being a plus because two negatives together makes it an add. So this will be 2.3 times 10 to the negative 6. Okay? Any questions on that one? Now let's look at the one at the very bottom, and then we'll come back to the middle one. When you have problems listed like this, and they're not in scientific notation in this case, you're going to want to put them in there. It'll be actually easier to do it in scientific notation. So this first one, if I were to put a little 0 in front of that decimal point, how many zeros do I have? 5. So this will be 8 times 10 to the negative 5th over 2 times 10 to the 2nd. Right? All right, so now let's look at the first part of this. 8 and 2. We're going to divide those. What do we get when we divide them? 4 times 10 to the negative 5th minus 2. So it'll be times 10 to the negative 7. That will be the answer on that one. Any questions? Okay. So now on this one, what I want to do is actually make them in their exponent or scientific form first, okay? So if I were to write a little 0 in front of this decimal point, how many zeros do I have on it? Right here. Yeah, I have 3 zeros. So it'll be 3.6 times 10 to the negative 3rd. Okay? And then the next one will be 5.2 times 10 to the what? 6. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to want to do on this one is actually take the 3.6 and the 5.2, multiply those two numbers together. So if I don't have a calculator, which there's parts of your test that you don't, you would stack them. Okay? So 2 times 6, 12. I'm going to carry the 1 and then look at the 2 again. 2 times 3, 6 plus 1 is 7. Put a 0 here for a place mark. And then 5 times 6 is 30. Carry the 3. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. If I add all that together, I have 1872. Now, there's a problem with this. We have 2 decimal places up here. So since we have 2 there, I got to put a decimal where there's 2 down here. So my decimal should go right here. So that means I have 18.72 times 10, and I'm going to add my exponents for the tens. So I have negative 3 plus 6. What will that be? Yep, to the 3rd, okay? Now, my big question for you is this standard scientific notation? Is this number between 1 and 10? No, it's not. So the thing I have to do with this is I'm going to have to move that decimal over 1. When I move it over 1, what do you think happens to this? It's going to go up 1, okay? So this will be 1.872 times 10 to the 4th. And that's my final answer.